Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel for another Quamfy Lounge episode. Today we're going to be doing another ecosystem analysis, and today Ghost and I will be focusing on TechNation and LORCA. Say hi, Ghost.
Hello.
Good to be back. We haven't done one in a while actually, and unless you've been, well actually I think it's almost impossible not to know what's going on in the world right now, but the world's taking the dive for the crazies, and we're all locked up at home, so I hope you guys are doing well and staying safe. But yeah, today we're going to dive into TechNation and LORCA. And these are two cybersecurity UK-funded government programs that Quant is a part of. And we're just going to go through them, outline some of the key partnerships, what they mean, and kind of just give you a broad overview of them. And so first off, we're just going to read through the TechNation press release, because a lot of you may not know or may not have been around. The first part's kind of a part on cybersecurity. We could probably just skip that. And this is why TechNation, the government-funded UK network for ambitious tech entrepreneurs, has chosen Quant Network as one of the 20 leading scale-ups for the National Cybersecurity Growth Program. We're in good company as the cohort includes companies from all over the UK with technologies ranging from machine learning to biometrics and cloud solutions, as well as blockchain. Quant Network is using emerging technologies such as blockchain and next-generation tokenization to solve those security challenges. The TechNation initiative is designed to boost the UK cyber sector, accelerate the growth, and build robust cross-industry network. Obviously, I'm not going to read every line. You guys can read that, but that gives you just a quick, brief overview, and we're just going to jump into who TechNation are.
Well, Ian, we can, and we're going to get into what that means beyond all the jargon.
Right.
But right now here, Luke is showing the announcement from TechNation showing this cohort and how Quant is involved.
Yeah. We're delighted to announce the next 20 exceptional cybersecurity companies. We'll just read what they have to say about it. Congratulations to all the firms selected for this new program, which shows the depth of tech talent right across the country. This important scheme will not only allow promising cybersecurity startups to access world-class expert advice, but also help us achieve our aim of making Britain the safest place in the world to be online. The image is a bit shit.
Is the
Margot
T
James.
silent? I think it is.
Margot, yeah, I think so.
Margot, yeah.
Yeah, like Margot Robbie, bro. That's it.
Well, yeah, and if you guys, this image is apparently an image for ants. Tell that
Yes,
Quant is
but we are there, and so yeah, it kind of just goes. I think we'll just read through. This is kind of a good little overview. The goal of cyber is to provide the UK's most promising and ambitious cyber with curated workshops, mentorships, guidance, meetups, and honest conversations led by expert scale coaches and knowledgeable entrepreneurs. If we scroll down, it just gives a couple of things. You guys can flick through this in your own time. And if you go down, it gives like an overview of each of them. Quant Network, and then blah blah blah. It does this little spiel. Awesome. So we're just going to touch on the fact. What is a PPP, Ghost?
All right. So generally, this entity that TechNation represents is indirectly or directly a public-private partnership. And so what this essentially what this boils down to is a partnership between a publicly funded, like taxpayer funded entity such as government and a privately owned corporation. And so this is a modern term for something that's been happening for a very long time. And in fact, I would contend that public-private partnerships tend to be the most efficient way you roll out national infrastructure and more importantly, international infrastructure. And so let's go to the next tab. And here we have a photo of, this is pre-internet, but the telegraph system and its development over time. Now, if you can, lend me your ears, Luke. Let me share my screen.
Sure.
So, all right. So this image is sourced from the electrical telegraphy page of Wikipedia, and and this so this international communications infrastructure was set by private corporations, like in 1846 the Electric Telegraph Company, and these supplied telegraph systems to railway companies, which were again private companies, but they were commissioned by public entities providing the funding. And so what you would see is that there would be like demands for roads, demands for telecommunications, demands for other utilities, and these public entities would pool together resources and then outsource their development and administration to these private entities. And sometimes it's so effective that these private entities gain a monopoly. One of these was AT&T. And AT&T, because it was set up in this PPP method, the United States was actually able to break them up rather than just let them like domineer over their subjects and basically feudally like rule over the peasants using their telephones. So it does provide this kind of balance of these utilities. Yeah, and so how does this tie into TechNation? Well, funnily enough, there is a interesting little entity called the General Post Office that was originally a post office, but then the public government saw, I think in 1912, the idea to combine what was the first telegraph company in the world into this like amalgamation. They basically acquired this thing and created the General Post Office. And this was the precursor to what we now know as British Telecommunications, BT Group. So Luke, how does BT Group fit back into Cyber Nation?
Well, funny enough, we'll touch on these partners again in a second, but OpenReach, this company here, is actually part of BT Group, if I'm not mistaken there, Ghost.
You are not mistaken. They are.
So we thought that was just a bit of an interesting tie-in. But also we're just going to touch back.
We just to reiterate, we can see the intersection of public and private entities all throughout this. Not only in the funding of this entity, but also in the supporting companies that comprise it and give it goals. I mean, this whole thing is just stitched into the British government.
Yeah. So, as part of the TechNation Cyber Group, TechNation is, again, it's all the same stuff we've talked about before. Ready for growth at home and abroad, peer-to-peer learning, masterclasses, and an international trip organised in conjunction with the Department of International Trade. And Ghost, hopefully you had something to mention about this as well.
Oh yeah. So this entity right here is really important now. And notice when it was formed, just formed in 14th of July 2016. And this branch of the government is basically the geopolitical negotiating branch for establishing England independently of the EU. And so this is basically a post-Brexit institution that England is trying to reassert itself as an international trade intermediary. And so this entity manages all the free trade agreements between all the individual countries that it has relationships with. It's very integral for basically the lifeblood of the United Kingdom.
Cool. All right. Well, we thought we would also now just give on a bit of an ecosystem analysis of TechNation. So we've kind of touched on what they are. A UK-funded group that is focused around building up cybersecurity for the UK via private-public partnerships. If we go down, we can have a look at some of their premium partners, BNB Purpose Real Estate Group. This is actually the largest real estate company in the world. Did we say, was it Ghost?
Commercial real estate.
Yeah, commercial real estate in the world. Openreach, we talked about that before. And then, of course, there's a few other consulting and corporate groups that you might not have heard of, but they're all very important. Another one you've probably noticed, Barclays, Microsoft, and UCL again pops up.
And University of Cambridge.
And Cambridge, yeah. So we thought.
But yes, UCL is definitely, you can't ever forget them.
Yep. So. Cool. We also thought we'd just quickly touch on the TechNation report for 2020. Funny enough, Boris Johnson actually leads the report with his own little spiel, but also we wanted to just point out one of the sections under unicorns. And so if you don't know,
unicorns company, and then also point out how UK is no schmuck when it comes to innovative funding. So
right. So if you don't know, a unicorn is a company valued over $1 billion. There's a section here on unicorns in the making, which is company, they call them like future unicorns. Companies between 250 and 800 million, and there is 95 of these scale-ups in the UK in 2019. We were actually just scrolling through this document earlier, and we found an interesting connection. UK Cloud is actually a partner of Quant's. They kind of popped out. What was the other one we were talking about? Starling Bank.
Finality.
Yeah, Finality was another one in there. And so
there's Atom Bank. There's plenty. Currency Cloud. I mean, there's a ton of just these promising little companies right here. So and blockchain.info I think is also part of that.
Yeah.
So really cool.
I think we were gonna try and find that the stats on where UK.
Essentially, what it boils down to is that you have the United States #1, China #2, and then the UK is essentially number 3. #1 in Europe, but #3 in the world when it comes to the funding of tech companies.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty good just overview document. We were flicking through the stats before, and there was quite a few interesting things.
Literally more than France and Germany combined.
All right, cool. So that's kind of gives you a bit of an overview of TechNation. And now we're going to touch on LORCA, which is almost sort of the same thing, but we've got a bit more to go into regarding LORCA. And so here we can see the announcement. We're delighted to be chosen as one of the 15 cybersecurity scale-ups chosen for LORCA. We look forward to collaborating with the rest of the cohort members on a mission to build a trusted internet for all. LORCA, London Office for Rapid Cybersecurity Advancement. Pretty sick logo, if I do say so myself. LORCA's mission is to support the most promising cybersecurity innovators in scaling and growing solutions to meet the most pressing industry challenge and build the UK's international cybersecurity profile. Now, again, what are we seeing? As Ghost touched on earlier, it's that whole public-private partnership between innovation projects, scale-ups, to just make UK a powerhouse pretty much in cybersecurity. We are convening organizations, small and large, investors, academics, sister programs, and the international community to maximize the commercial potential of great cyber solutions. By 2021, we have stimulated the growth of at least 72 high potential companies, grown up to 2,000 jobs, and secured £40 million in investment. LORCA is a joint collaboration between Plexel, CSIT, and Deloitte, funded by, and we'll touch on these partners again in a little bit. This is the important part. Funded by the Department for Digital Culture, Media and Support as part of the National Cybersecurity Strategy. So again, UK government funded. If we jump over, we can go cohort 3. And this is the one that Quant was brought in. Meet the cohort. We go down here. Quant Network, again, the spiel. Cool. So who is LORCA? A good way to get involved, a good way to go is just read, their little, what would you call that? Brief, I guess. And then we're going to touch on some of their partners.
Something like that.
Yeah, so cybersecurity program that's funded by the Department of Digital Cultural Media and Sport and delivered by Plexel, Deloitte, and CSIT. Connects startups, scale-ups. Yep, we talked about that. So basically, it acts as a landing pad into the UK market and a launch pad into global markets. We give everything our members need to scale, from mentoring to trade delegations to connecting them with industry and VCs. Cool. So, LORCA is funded by the UK government. Some of the corporate partners, I'm sure you've seen some of these before, and we're actually going to bring out a couple of them and just expand on them because there's a few interesting connections we enjoy. Lloyd's Banking Group, they're just your local burritos shop. Dell Technologies, Kudelski Security, KX. I was just kidding. I'm sure you guys all know who Lloyd's is. Dell, Kudelski, Global Cybersecurity Alliance, and delivery partners. These are guys who help things matter, hit the rubber on the road. Plexel, Deloitte, definitely no stranger to anyone in the community, and CSIT. So
yeah, and you know Lloyd's is just there to get everyone properly sauced.
Yes.
So that they can get things done.
Get those funding rounds. So CSIT is basically like, what do we call it? A research center, Ghost? A research center funded by the UK government?
It's essentially yet another branch of research center that's publicly funded for cybersecurity. And so apparently it's like Queen's University Belfast, so they're the ones that host this entity. And you're gonna see multiple versions of these entities across the UK, and this is just one notable version of these.
Cool. Just something that I thought was kind of funny. They're very supportive on Twitter, and they even retweeted David's fantastic token piece on Twitter. But anyway,
if you see anyone saying the QNT token does not have utility, just read that article.
It was actually a fantastic article. It's really well done.
It is.
Cool. Moving on. So we're going to talk about KX now. If you're an avid listener of the Quamfy Lounge, that sounds so ridiculous to say, but we've actually touched on KX before a little bit with relation to crowds in our crowds video. So KX is a how would you explain it, Ghost?
Yeah, so essentially, like, we got KX stewards a database technology that is extremely performant. Like, it's really fast, and I think it's like they created their own programming language and their own database technology, and it's predominantly used for derivatives and derivatives computation and the sharing of derivative data. And so, they're definitely one of the key parts of national critical infrastructure.
And so they've joined LORCA as one of the corporate partners to help basically. Well, it also says the members have access to the KX platform, but also it enables the cyber innovators to develop and scale their solutions while having direct access to industry and investors. And this partnership will allow our members to tap into incredibly valuable insights and expertise from KX.
Let's imagine that KX is talking to Quant through LORCA, and Quant's like, okay, we want to integrate KX into Overledger. So what this means is that you can access with a KX framework connector, access all the data that's contained on KX databases around the world, and use them as oracles and tokenize the derivatives within their databases and have them be transportable to and fro the KX database.
Right.
So you can use this trust network that Quant's building in order to provide a more, like, I guess you could say, borderless framework for digital assets.
Cool. So, it was good. It was good. Nothing more to add. You covered it. So basically, let's move on. So, basically, again, if you saw our video with KX, you'll know the connection to crowds, but I thought we'd just reiterate it for this video. First derivatives in KX is basically the same thing. Not really, but first derivatives was actually one of the seed funders for Crowds, and you know Crowds,
along with Techstars.
along with
Don't forget
Techstars,
that.
and led by
And
Barclays.
Barclays.
And
Yeah.
Crowds is one of our partners. You should probably watch their video if you are interested. I just think it was cool that KX has popped up again. Potentially a coincidence. I'm not sure. Probably a coincidence, but still cool. All right, so we're going to go on to the next partner I wanted to talk about, and that is Kudelski Security. And they're a subsidiary of Kudelski Group, quite large. They have some interesting partners we wanted to talk about. The World Economic Forum, Cryptus, and interestingly, Accord project. Now, if you know also about Quant, we'll probably do a video on Accord as well. Accord is building a framework for smart legal contracts. And if we go over here, we can see that at one of the Accord projects events in London, supported by the City of London, we can see some interesting names here. Obviously, Accord project, DocuSign, ISDA, R3 Digital Asset, Kudelski Security, IBM, and then it just goes into the speakers. Again, if you didn't know, we are a technology partner for Accord. I think we're going to do a video on this separately anyway, Ghost, just touch on what they do. Again, we see the forge of the fire, whatever you call it, with Chainlink. But
Wait, we have having an Accord, forging the fires of the bear market.
Yeah, that's it. So the other also interesting thing that I would just flick through for Kudelski Security is some of their technology partners. These guys are pretty much a giant. Like, you can't really, pretty big. Just going to flick through and show you some of the names. Cisco. Of course, all of these guys are probably meaningful, but for all those of us normies,
Luke, you're just burning through all this, but there's something I think you forgot to emphasize on.
What's that?
Go back to the Accord projects 2019. The project form, and so all these sponsors are great. City of London is fantastic. The fact that they did the deriv hack with Barclays, that was such a crucial step forward in digitizing derivatives. Again, digitizing derivatives. There's that theme again. And so if we can go down, Kudelski is there. We have Jeremy Cuomo, head of blockchain technologies, ISDA rep right there, DocuSign technology, Core project. Oh, who's Anna Donovan? Who's that? Feinstein Innovation Lecturer at UCL. Oh, wow. I think we know who they are. And UK Law Tech Delivery Panel, UCL CBT. So if that doesn't say something, I don't know what does. UCL CBT having a front and center representative here, along with the CTO of the UCL School of Management, Niall Roche. So we have 2 UCL reps at this Accord project forum. I'd have to say that's a pretty solid representative of a key partner of Quant's here.
I think we'll have to do a video on UCL as well.
That one's so big though, because they have so much reach. As the legendary AJ says, all roads lead to UCL.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I think I touched on them in one of my earlier videos, like the birth of Quant and how like Palo and UCL helped code it up at the start. But anyway, back to some of the technology partners. Just gonna flick through just some noticeable ones. IBM. Was it Uniper you wanted to highlight as well?
Yeah, Uniper is an infrastructure provider for 5G networks. So they're gonna. Oh, Palo Alto, software-defined networking provider, really popular. A lot of just what you're seeing is a lot of infrastructure. You saw Cisco before, VMware, Symantec. Yeah, just like a ton of information technology providers right here. And Kudelski also, if we went back to Kudelski's, the page where it said the Accord partnership, go up a little bit. Look at Cryptus a little bit closer. In 2016, we launched a strategic partnership with Cryptus Information Security, an independent strategic defense company, EED, headquartered in Campinas, Brazil. Founded in 2003, it protects the largest set of military programs in Brazil, including the CISFRON Army, Link BR2 Air Force, and the Defense Certification Authority, the Ministry of Defense. The company's strengths range from a secure semiconductor design, so hardware design, to complex military-grade secure system integration. That's deep. That's deep right there. And so again, we get into this public-private partnership theme of national critical infrastructure being developed in collaboration with private entities, and that it just seems to be the best way to do things at scale. This is like the funding and the oversight is centralized within publicly auditable institutions, and then they're executed on privately owned corporate levels. And so, yeah, it's just really interesting to see, like, as you parse the relationships and see who is connected to who, just how tangled this web can be. It's very interesting.
Cool.
So go ahead, Nick. I don't mean to steal the mic from you. Go ahead.
That's fine. That's good. Again, it's just like the whole theme of this episode is around the fact that both of these programs are UK-funded cybersecurity, and it's just good to see recognition. I mean, I don't know of many other crypto projects or crypto-funded projects that are at the heart of such critical, as Go says, critical national infrastructure and UK funding. I mean, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it just goes to show that Quant is building the reputation to be trusted within all levels of the UK government.
Also, something that we stumbled across when we were looking at Kudelski Securities, they have their own little blockchain branch. And if we scroll down, you'll probably see some noticeable names, and also LORCA pops up again. But there was also
Ledger.
Yep, there was also one, and again, a Cord project pops up as well. And so Kudelski is a pretty big giant, actually. So it's pretty impressive to have them.
So if Kudelski is involved with the LORCA branch of blockchain, they're definitely aware of Quant.
Yeah, I think actually that would be a good thing to look at. I wonder how many in the cohort we were in were blockchain based. I don't think there were any others, actually. So there's us.
I don't remember very many as well.
I think we were the only blockchain.
So yeah, let's get back to that. Kudelski is involved in the military. They're involved in information security with Cisco and other hardware providers, and so when Gilbert says he is bringing their technology to clients, and then that those clients are going to share the technology forward, like, this is the scale he's talking about. He and his strategic advisory are aiming at these pivot points where, when you're adopted here, like in SIA, you're adopted by hundreds, if not thousands, of institutions. And so one domino falling means just so many more in the line. So it's really interesting just to see where Quant's positioned.
That's it's a good point, and it's a similar thing with Simba. We saw, as Go says, SIA is like an infrastructure company. It's not just one bank. It's a whole financial network. Same with Simba. Simba is a smart contract as a platform. I was looking at them the other day. They're almost up to 2,000 organizations now, and almost 1,000 dApps.
That's so sick.
Huge reach.
And the fact that they're integrating Overledger as we speak. So cool. All right, yeah. Let's not get too lost. What is SOSA? What's Plexel?
So Plexo was another one of the delivery partners alongside Deloitte and CSIT for LORCA. And interestingly, SOSA seems to be like some sort of connection between the UK, New York, and Israel. So SOSA's partnership with Plexel, which is again the delivery partner for LORCA, will strengthen ties between New York, Israel, and the UK. It will allow startups and scale-ups working with Plexel and SOSA to participate in landing pad programs and trade missions. While the relationship will support a range of technology verticals, cybersecurity will provide a particularly strong opportunity for collaboration between LORCA and SOSA's Global Cybersecurity Center, which is operated jointly in New York by the NYC EDC, and SOSA, a part of its Cyber NYC initiative. I thought this was kind of a good sum up. For LORCA members, the partnership provides a platform to scale internationally, whether you're interested in the significant cyber market in New York or through accessing the deep technical expertise within the Israeli ecosystem. Anything to add?
So
there, guys?
as Luke said before, these incubators, these innovation hubs, these accelerators, in a sense, they're not just for promoting national companies. They're also providing an international platform for startups and scale-ups to bring their products and services to anyone who wants it. And so it really does enable anyone who's a member of these entities to reach out to the New York City, to Israel, like look up Singapore, Israel, US, Spain, Switzerland, Denmark. I mean, like it's like the border becomes really flexible at this point because you're being empowered to this level. And this is like, SOSA is not a small thing. Cyber NYC is like completely sponsored by the city of New York, and it's part of their progression into becoming a smart city. And so this means that any technology provider would love to be a part of this because it gives them a chance to integrate their technologies at scale within one of the busiest and largest cities in the world. And so it's very, very, very interesting. So
cool. All right. So we're getting towards the tail end, and I thought we'd wrap it up just by showing, again, now Plexel is kind of like an innovation center that's helping to house the LORCA program and give these companies and scale-ups a place to discuss, meet, etc. I'll just flick through some of their partners as well. Again, Blacksley pops up, the Global Cyber Alliance, the NYC EDC we just mentioned, and a couple of other entrepreneurship.
The Guild of Entrepreneurs, that's interesting. London Legacy Development.
And finally, I thought I'd tie it all up by showing our man, Toby Box, head of Financial Services at Quant, hanging out with LORCA at the Plexel building. We can see Quant's little image there. And yeah, I thought that was a good tie-up. So anything you want to add, guys, before we do a little wrap-up and sign off?
If I say something is interesting again, I might never have to use that word again. So this entire video I think is a good little overview of what innovation hubs Quant and these like innovation pools Quant can tap into in order to fuel future growth.
Awesome. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Hope I'm not sure many people actually know about TechNation and LORCA, but I hope you guys a little bit of insight.
Oh yeah, by the way, shout outs to the Quamfy Lounge, shout outs to all the new admins. Y'all have been doing a great job. Shout outs to Cheddar. I don't know why. The shout outs to Cheddar. You're my boy.
I'm not sure he'll make it this far in the video. We're in 35 minutes.
Hey, you never know. You never know, dude. You never know. I'm crossing my fingers.
All right.
And in general, I think stay Quamfy, lads and lassies. And we'll see you next time. We've got some interesting content on the way, so we just need to hammer it out. So wish us luck.
Cool. All right, thanks guys for watching. Again, share it around, comment, stay in touch. Ghost and I are always around, so drop us a message with any suggestions or feedback, and take it easy. All right, guys. See ya.
All right, see ya.